Hello everyone and welcome to this tutorial on the installation process of Ubuntu 20 on a virtual machine on macOS. In the first step we're going to install our virtual machine runner. In this case it's UTM. You simply go to the link here on the top, mac.getutm.app. You can click here on Mac App Store and download it directly from the App Store, but this option is $10 or 10 euros. Simply hit download and it'll be for free. So we can now see it installing in our box down here. Open it, and now simply drag this from UTM to applications. If we then open applications, well, you see all the other applications you installed on your device. And if we go down here, we can now see UTM and double click on here. It will ask you if you really want to install it because it's an app from the internet. Just say open. You can jump over these installation instructions, and now we have UTM already running on our system. We can close this, and for now, we'll come back to this later on. In the next step, we want to install Ubuntu 20 directly from the Ubuntu 20 source. Now in our next step, we're going to simply Google for Ubuntu 20 for the ARM processor. In this case, we're using ARM because it's on M1 or M2 chips. In the new case, of course, as well for M3 and so on. If you have an ARM processor, so an Intel-based processor, you can simply download directly the AMD version. But since most macOS systems in the future will all be with M1 or M2 chips, we'll look at these for now. We simply type Ubuntu 20 ARM server and click here on the second link. You can see multiple options appearing for us. What we want to use is the server install image. Do not be afraid that it's called server. You'll see later why this is important or how we can change it to the desktop version. And you can see here 64-bit ARM server install image. Simply click on this and it'll start the download. This may take some time. Now that we installed or downloaded the ISO file, you can see here that it was about 1.37 gigabytes. We can start UTM again and then click. So of course, this is in German for me. For you guys, this could be English as well. Click on create a new virtual machine. And now we click on virtualize. Now for the operating system, we choose Linux. And here we are going to browse. We want to select a boot ISO image. And we click on search. In this case, for me, it's in downloads. And it's Ubuntu 20 live server ARM ISO. Click open, click continue. Here we select how much RAM, how many processor cores we want to give to the virtual machine. You can leave this on standard, and for me 4 gigabytes is definitely enough. Now you can select how much storage space you want to give to the virtual machine. I'll leave this at 64 gigabytes as well. Now, if you want to have a shared directory path, this is a possibility to set this up. This means that you have a drive both on your macOS home system and on your virtual machine, where you can simply exchange stuff. I won't use this for now, simply because for me this is not really necessary and it's a bit more work. I'll give you guys a link if you want to implement this. It's a bit of work, but maybe it's worth for you guys. If not, simply click continue. Now you can give this a name. I would always recommend to give this the name of the Ubuntu version you've just installed, just so you have it consistently. So in this case, it's Ubuntu 20 for us. You don't have to change anything else. Now you can just hit save, and it's going to take some time. And boom, that's it. Now it's Ubuntu 20. Now we have to install Ubuntu 20, so we'll double click on here. And now it's going to go through the installation process with us together. So we want to install the Ubuntu server, so we're just going to hit enter here. Don't be afraid that it says display output is not active for now. This will change later, no worries. Okay, so now we can select the language we want to install. I'll install English in this case. So you can always update the installer. Normally this is not necessary. You can just hit continue without updating. Now, important, your keyboard layout. So again, for me, this is German. Please select the layout you're using. If it's German, English, or something else. We can leave all these default and click done. Same thing with the proxy address. We don't have to add everything. Mirror address, same thing. Here, important, leave everything as is again, but so this means use it as an entire disk. New thing, no encryption, no custom storage layout. Just hit done again. You'll see this. Hit done again. And now hit continue. Okay, so here we have to enter usernames and passwords. So simply, I will input F1Tenth everywhere, but of course, you can give everything different names depending on what you want your password and username to be. If you're finished everything, hit done again, hit enter. So we don't have to install OpenSSH server. You can do this if you want to, but you can also do this later on, no worries. Again, same thing with the server snaps. We can just go through all of these. And now you see this, and this is the actual installation page. So it's now installing the system in the background. So we can continue once our message is install complete on the top left side here. And also it gives us the option down here to reboot now. So we will click this, but then we can directly close the virtual machine. We don't have to wait for it to reboot. Now, the reason we don't want it to reboot is because before we want to actually remove our installation medium. So we just click down here. So after disconnecting our ISO file, we can now restart our virtual machine. Just hit play again. Now you can see that we directly start here on the top left hand with Ubuntu 20 on our F1Tenth server. It now asks us for a username, so we can simply type in F1Tenth again. Hit enter. And now for our password, hit F1Tenth again and hit enter again. Okay, so now on the bottom we can see that we're now in our, we're logged into our system. We're in our normal command line. Now the thing is, of course, that we don't want to, keep the server view. We actually want to install the normal desktop version. For this, we're going to initially run sudo apt update and, sorry, it's double and sudo apt upgrade and hit enter. Now we'll ask for a password. So just again, enter your password. Now you can see that we're currently upgrading all our packages. Now, if you see this thing, you don't have to, insert or like type yes or a Y. Just simply hit enter and it'll automatically count that as a yes. Now this will just quickly go through all the packages. With the progress bar on the bottom, we can see that it's already installing them. And now once we have our command line back, that means we successfully upgraded all packages that were upgradable. Okay, the next step is to now install our normal desktop environment. We do this with sudo apt install Ubuntu -desktop. And again, just simply hit enter. Now we'll see this is way more. This is 3 gigabytes. So we'll just quickly run through this and I'll do a small time travel to a final state where everything's installed already. Okay, fantastic. So we can now see that everything installs successfully. Now, don't be confused. It'll not automatically, give you the graphical output. What we have to do instead is now actually reboot our system. You can either close it and open it up again, or you can simply type reboot. Now, in this case, because you already took out the ISO file before, you don't have to do anything. Don't be worried about the error messages before. That's very typical Ubuntu. Okay, fantastic. And now we can see that we have a graphical interface with our Ubuntu 20 installation, which has our normal login screen, as for example, we would know it from our F1Tenth car or, a native Ubuntu 20 installation. Now again, just click on here, type in F1Tenth as a password or the password you set, hit enter, and we can see a normal installation. Now in this case, you can just click next, no, don't send information, and done. And now we're there. We can open up the internet, use this as we normally do. Let's say YouTube, for example. This automatically works with your existing computer's connection. Now, one thing to note when using the virtual machine is that, well, first of all, of course, it tries to upgrade you to Ubuntu 22, but we don't want to do this. So you can just hit don't upgrade. Okay, we want to upgrade to Ubuntu 22. That you can see in some cases, you'll notice that the cursor is caught in the virtual machine, especially if you open something, if you worked a lot in here. So then it won't let you get out again. If this ever happens to you, you can simply click Control and Opt, and now you can see that, well, this is how we are caught, but if you hit the same thing again, you can just continue as we had before, right? So if you ever notice that, you're caught in the system, simply hit Control Alt, and you can switch between both modes that you're caught or you're not. Okay, perfect. So now we have a virtual machine running on macOS with Ubuntu 20, and in our next tutorial, we'll then install ROS 2, and then in the third tutorial, install our F1Tenth simulator. Thank you guys for paying attention.